the meeting and we'll start the presentation now. So today our lecture will be the first chapter in CCC syllabus, which is Introduction to Computer. Okay, and today we are going to start with what is a computer. So there are many definitions regarding computer, but the first thing that I want you to understand is that computer is derived from the keyword compute. Compute in mathematics means to calculate. So computer is related to mathematics, which means calculation of some numbers. Okay, so the definition given in your CCC textbook is like this. Computer is an electronics device that process or transform data into useful information by executing a series of predefined instructions. Okay, this is the definition in most of the computer science textbooks. So according to the definition, the main aim of this definition is to convert data into information. So computer works like this. There will be input box or input devices, and all the input data will be processed in the central processing unit. If it is required, it will be stored in the computer memory and output will be given. So according to the above definition, the input is data and the output is information. So we'll talk more about data and information in the next slide. So now let us talk, what is data? Data is a raw fact or unorganized collection of facts or things. So example of data will be this. Mohan, 1977A is a data. We don't know what is the meaning of this sentence. Mohan, 1977A something. This is a data. And information is meaningful data or organized collection of fact or data having some meaning. For example, from the above data, we can say that Mohan, whose roll number is 1977, got a grade. Okay, this is information. Information is more meaningful and than data. Tikhan interest yang data le information too. Data kan tikhan til kha enge mo kha ashiat thi ruak ruak thawa ma se enge soitum tak kha ashiat lawani unorganized ani chuan information ani kha chuan asoitum chiang takin a oma chu organized ani computer in thil ati chu data kha alaluta information khan achan tir thin ani kha computer meaning ani now we'll go to the history of computers. So the earliest known tools for computation was abacus, which is developed by Chinese in the period to 2700 to 2300 BC. And I hope you all know what is abacus. Here is very old picture of abacus developed by the Chinese. And in 1642, French mathematician invented adding machine. Adding means plus. So we can call it as a plus machine. And in 1830, Charles Babbage invented a differential engine and analytical engine. And he was known as the father of modern computer because all the modern computers were developed based on his inventions and his vision. In 1936, Konrad Zuse developed Z1 computer, which is one of the most used computer in that time. And in 1946, at the end of the Second World War, electronics numerical integrator and computer was born, which was used for calculating military equipments, etc. Okay. Evolution of computer can be divided into different generations. So we have 5 generations. The first generation starts from 1940 to 1958. Second generation starts from 1959 to 1964. Third generation starts from 1965 to 1971. And fourth generations from 1972 to 80. And fifth generation 1982 to the present. So I'll quickly go through the different generations of computer. So the first generations use vacuum tubes as the internal computer components. Okay, vacuum tubes are not used nowadays. The picture of vacuum tubes is like this. Vacuum tubes are generally 5 to 10 centimeters in length, and the electronics made by vacuum tubes are extremely large and also very expensive. One example of vacuum tube computer is UNIVAC, which is developed in 1951. Here is the picture of UNIVAC. So it occupies a complete room, one single room. So the computers are very, very slow and very, very expensive also. So in this first generation, I want you to remember vacuum tubes. In second generations, transistors were developed at Bell's laboratory in 1947, and it was widely used in 1950. So transistor replaced vacuum tubes. Vacuum tubes are no longer used in second generations. So the size of the computer is reduced, but it is faster, more reliable, and consume less electricity. And the first computer language, programming language like assembler, Fortran, COBOL, etc., were developed in this second generation. So in this second generation, one of the notable things that happened is transistor, the development of transistor. And the third generations, in 1965, IC was developed, and IC replaced transistors, and computer become smaller and smaller, but faster and faster also. And it is capable of doing much more than the previous generations. Only in this third generation, keyboards were used. Before that, punch cards was used as the input device. And IBM 360 was one of the computer which was developed during this period. And the picture is IBM 360. And in fourth generations, thousands of integrated circuits were crammed into a single silicon chip. We call it as a chip, and this makes computer much smaller and faster also. One of the notable things that you have to remember is that Intel 4004 chip was developed in 1971, and during that time, IBM was the first company to introduce or develop computer for the home user. And Apple company was also there. In 1984, Apple introduced Macintosh, Mac computer operating systems. And the fifth generation, 2010 to the present. And in these fifth generations, we are living in the era of AI. I hope you understand what is AI. Your phone camera also comes with AI, and export systems and natural language processing are very common during this period, and robotics, etc. Okay, so we are living in artificial intelligence as, according to computer generations, we are living in the fifth generations. The aim of this fifth generation computer is that to make the system or the computer as intelligent as human beings. Okay, so we'll go to the next topic in this first chapter, which is IT gadgets and their applications. Kathusoy interest zelem. Kasoy mol maya.
Oh, kan siya halu tuga.
Interest here mem. Oh, kan soy china kan. Do you have any questions? Oh, interest here one. Atra eh. Tuna swan CCC syllabus Untitled Chapter timaya nga. The newly added syllabus, which is IT gadgets and their applications. I don't know what to study in this portion, but last night I googled some of the IT gadgets or the tools which is popularly used and will be used in the future. So I included those gadgets with a picture. We'll study that together. So first of all, let us try to define what is IT gadgets. A gadget is a small tools such as machine that has particular functions. Okay, gadgets are sometimes referred as gizmos. So gadget and gizmos are the same. So the first gadget that I want to introduce you is VR, virtual reality. As you can see in the picture, VR is one of the gadget commonly used in developed countries. I hope in Mizoram also some may use. Virtual reality used in gaming, mental health, medical education, fashion, recruitment, tourism, etc. So I hope you have seen some picture, funny picture of people using virtual reality or playing games in internet. And another one is 3D printing. 3D printing is also becoming more and more popular nowadays, and many institutions, many universities are utilizing the facilities of this 3D printing to design 3D objects. In ISO itself, we use 3D printing for printing signboards, etc. And in developed countries, they use 3D printers for printing products and industrial designs, constructions, medical applications, even in education, etc. So 3D printing is also one of the interesting gadgets nowadays. And another one is spy camera, spy cams. So spy agents and investigative journalists usually use spy camera when normal camera is not allowed to capture. Okay, so I don't know whether in ISO they use or not, but these spy gadgets are also becoming more and more popular. Which look like the picture which I have shown you here is a pen, look like a pen, but it's a camera with a voice recorder, and there is a charger also, and memory card can also be inserted in this pen. So it can be used as a pen, but it can capture a scene. And another one is doorbell, Arlo video doorbell. This is popular in US. And this doorbell is allows the user to, the user means the homeowner, to see and talk to the visitors who press the doorbell. And it is a waterproof, and it is it has a camera along with Wi-Fi facilities. So even though you are away from your home, you can see who is visiting your home, something like that. So in our country, I think nobody use this kind of doorbell, but it will be becoming more and more popular in the future. So smartwatch. I think I don't need to speak about smartwatch. Some of you may also use it. Smartwatch help us in many ways. It is a companion of our phone and GPS device. We can even send messages. We can chat with our friends using our smartwatch. And another one is this carbon monoxide alarm. Suppose you are living in a room where there is no windows, or it is not well ventilated. You can use this kind of devices or gizmos and place it anywhere inside your room, and this device can alarm you if the level of carbon monoxide is high, and which may be harmful for you. So this is another kind of device. And gaming gadgets, this may be interested for the gamers, especially the boys. And you can play any games anywhere, wherever you went, with these devices. And another one is speaker, as well as a smart charger or wireless charger. You don't need to plug the wire to charge your phone. You can simply put in on it and your phone will be charged. And another one, smartphone, I think I don't need to speak about it. And Amazon Echo, I hope most of you know about Amazon Echo. It is a voice control device. You can do many things using Amazon Echo. And medical gadgets like checking the temperature, which is very common because of this COVID pandemic. And this is the old kind of temperature, again, to monitor your health. And another one is vacuum cleaner to clean your floor. In developed countries, they use these types of cleaner to clean the floor. So it is autonomous. Autonomous means it can clean by itself wherever it is there is the dirt. And this is also another wireless charger and fitness trackers. I hope even the girls also wear it. And this is very helpful to monitor your heart rate, exercise, number of steps, GPS, reminder, etc. And this is wireless earbud. And there is nowhere. You can listen to music through your phone using Bluetooth. It uses the Bluetooth technology. So while driving also you can use these types of earbuds. And in developed countries, they have even umbrella gizmos or gadgets, which is a wind and water resistant. And we have LG also developed many intelligence device nowadays. And this is one example, which is washing machine fitted with artificial intelligence. When you put your clothes inside it, this LG washing machine can detect what type of clothes it is, what is the fabric, and how dirty it is, and what will be the duration to spin. Will it be a moderate spin or a rough spin, something like that. So this is an intelligent machine. And computers or IT can be used everywhere. Let's say everywhere. As I depicted here, it can be used everywhere nowadays. So, so far, do you have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask, or you can type any questions in the chat box. Am I too fast? Or is it my speed is enough? Enge, zonete aomem. Kasoy rang lutukem. Acha ngayang. Chuan, 10:30 ni trap to chu wang chuan kan zo man lo takin kal vad vadila top lama khan zo na in zon mai don nia zo na in nei lo chuan ke man ka zo tang cheu. All right, now let's talk about the concept of hardware and software. So I think this is not necessary for most of you, but since it is included in the syllabus, let me explain. Hardware is the physical component or the electronic components that you can touch and see. For example, hard disk, motherboard, CPU, mouse, etc. are the hardware. And software is the program or list of instructions to be executed by the computers, okay? So hardware is performing things based on the software. So they are together and cannot be separated. And in software, we have system software, which are operating systems like Windows 7, Windows 10, etc., Mac, Linux, etc. We also have application software. So software can be divided into two: system software, application software. We can even divide into more than two, like utility software, etc., which we'll go into, which we'll study in the next slide. So first of all, let us study a little bit about CPU, Central Processing Unit. It is the we can say the most important parts or components in computer. Depending on the speed of your CPU, your computer may be fast or slow. So this is very, very important. And CPU may be the most expensive part in computer. So here, this is the picture of i7 CPU. So CPU, the speed of the CPU is usually measured in terms of hertz, gigahertz. Okay, nowadays gigahertz, 3.4 gigahertz, something like that. Previously, it was measured in terms of megahertz, but with the increase in the speed of CPU, the measuring unit is also gigahertz nowadays. And CPU can be CPU that takes data from main memory, which is RAM, random access memory, and process whatever inputs, and also give, if it is required, it's stored inside the memory. And the CPU is divided into two, or the CPU is made up of two components. The first one is arithmetic logic unit, and the second one is control unit, ALU and CU. I request you, all of you, to remember the different uh, short forms along with their abbreviations. Okay, so ALU means arithmetic logic unit, CU means control unit. So these are the commonly asked questions in CCC exams. And CPU communicates with other devices through a wire or a cable, which is known as bus. Bus. There are three types of bus: address bus, which carry the address of the device, and data bus, which carry different data, and control bus, which carry the um, control signals. So when I talk about this address means the location of the device. For example, you insert a mouse into USB port. So the address will be port number 1 or port number 2, depending on the number of ports. And data means, for example, if you want the computer to add two numbers, 2 plus 7, something like that, the data will be 2 and 7. Control buses will carry the instructions. Instruction will be plus, 2 plus 7. So I hope it's clear. And now let us quickly talk about input devices. These are simple devices. I hope you are all already understood. And these are the different input device. Input device include common input device include keyboard, mouse, optical mouse, pointing device such as light pen, microphone, camera, etc. are the input devices. So in this, the things that you have typed inside a computer are usually converted into characters, which each character have a code, and the code they usually use is ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. I want you to remember the full form of ASCII because in CCC exam they used to ask. I also will request you to remember there's the different short forms: MIRC, magnetic ink character recognition; OMR, optical mark recognition; OBR, optical barcode reader, etc. So here the list is very few. There are much bigger list. Okay, input, when you say input devices, gaming devices. Nowadays in our phone, the touch screen is also input devices. We have a fingerprint sensor. So many input devices are there. We cannot list in one slide. The next one is output device. Output device include the monitors, printers, even the projectors, etc. Okay, so in monitor also we have the old type of monitor, which is known as CRT monitor. It is a cathode ray tube monitor, but which is not used nowadays because it consumes a huge amount of power supply, and the brightness of the monitor is usually too bright and very harmful for our eyes. We have to use anti-glare screen or something like that in order to protect our eyes. That's why it is discontinued. Nowadays, we are using LCD, LED, TFT monitors, etc. Okay, please try to remember and try to know the short forms. In printers, we have two types of printers: impact printers and non-impact printers. When you say impact printers, it usually impact or have some effect on the paper. Those are known as impact printer. For example, dot metric printers. Uh, I don't know whether you already use it or not, but these dot metric printers are usually used for printing stenciled for preparing the newspapers, and line printers are also there. But dot metric printers are not commonly used nowadays. Non-impact printers. In non-impact printers, we have inkjet printers and laser printers. These are much more common nowadays. They don't have any impact on the paper. It's like a painter painting on the paper. Now let's talk about computer memory. Computer memories, there are different types of computer memory, and the fastest is cache memory. Okay, the fastest memory is cache memory, which comes with the CPU, and we have primary or main memory, which include RAM, random access memory, and read ROM, read only memory. And we also have secondary memory. Although we have different types of computer memories or memories, they can be classified into two types: primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory are usually those memory which work closely with the CPU, which are usually inside your computer or inside your laptop or inside your phone. Those are primary memory. It includes random access memory, SD means standard, DDR means double data rate, and ROM, read-only memory. CD, I hope you know. DVD, I hope you know. Digital video disk or digital versatile disk. And another type of memory is those memory which can be inserted from outside. For example, a memory card, pen drive, etc. are secondary memory. Hard disk is also included under secondary memory because we can have external hard disk also. And when we talk about memory, uh, you have to know the measurement unit for memory. Everything that is that goes inside a computer is represented in machine code. This machine code is nothing but 0 and 1, because computer operate using electricity. So when there is power supply, the code will be 1. When there is no power supply, the code will be 0. So computer can understand only 0 and 1. So this 0 and 1 is called binary digit, bit or binary digit. So 8 bits equal to 1 byte, okay? 8 bits equal to 1 byte. This bit is the smallest unit in computer memory measurement unit, okay? And 1024 bytes equal to 1 kilobyte. 1024 KB equal to 1 megabyte. 1024 KB MB equal to GB. I hope we are familiar with GB because our phone usually comes with memory cards which says 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB, something like that, okay? And the memory unit which is bigger than GB is TB, terabyte, and petabyte, and so many measurements units are there. But up to this, I think it's enough. And I want to explain why it is 1024, okay? Usually, when we say kilo, kilo usually means 1,000, but in computer it is not exact 1,000. It is 1024, 1024. And the reason is they usually measure bits using 2, okay, using 2. So when you say 2 to the power 10, 2 to the power 10 is kilobyte, 2 to the power 10 kilo. So 2 to the power 10, when you calculate, it will become 1024. So 2 to the power 20 will be a megabyte, 2 to the power 30 will be gigabyte, and it goes on like that. So it is based on 2 because it is binary digit. That's why it is not exact 1,000, it is 1024. I hope you understood. Now let us talk about software. Software. Software can be divided into different categories. According to your CCC syllabus, software can be divided into application software, system software, utility software, open source software, and proprietary software, and mobile apps. Okay, these are the list of software that we need to study. First of all, before we study software, I want to make sure you know how software are developed inside a computer, okay? So I already told you that computer understood machine language, which is 0 and 1. And this machine language is very difficult to understand by human beings. For example, if I say 100101000, we don't know what is the meaning of that. So that binary digits or series of 0 and 1 can be and understand by computer, okay? It will have some meaning. But programming a computer or developing a software using 0 and 1 is very, very difficult. So the first architects of this computer manufacturer develop a language which is known as assembly language. Assembly language looks like a little bit of English. For example, if I want to add two numbers, I may say add 5, 7. That means I instruct the computer to add 5 and 7, which is assembly language. So assembly language use assembler to convert the assembly programming language into computer understandable machine language, which is 0 and 1. But still, assembly language are also difficult, and many computer experts develop high-level language such as Basic, COBOL, Pascal, C, C++, Visual Basic, Java, nowadays Android, Python, etc. Okay, these are high-level programming language. Those high-level programming language are converted into assembly language by compiler. So compiler is a tool, a software tools that convert source code or the code written in computer programming language to assembler. And there are also fourth generation language such as SQL, structured query language, query-based example, etc., expression, etc. Okay. Let me explain a little bit about this in Mizo because this is important for not only for your exam but for your practical understanding also. In short thiam kadua reilote hemi explain nan hian minute khat le kan soi fiat le nge computer hian a short thiam chu 0 le 1 kan ti kha number pakhat le 0 achan chu electric manga nung ania power supply manga nung ania power supply lu kha chuan alu na mun kha 1 anga khan lo ngai ta ila alu thelo na an off na lai kha 0 anga ngai ta ila khami ang zel khan computer khan na thokani 0 le 1 manga computer be thiam ni lang chuan mathematics thiam turu lutuk lo ni la computer 0 le 1 sequence ka a code kha she thei chat chat la 0 le 1 mangin computer idu tok ini program thei don ti na ni a hacker ro pui tak po ini thei don ti na ni chu mi pang ai tan chuan thilar sa ni a 0 le 1 ringot han pui kha chian te pon min mu se a thak min ti tia chu wang chuan computer siam chuak to masa te khan assembly language anod siam chuak ta a assembly language mangin programming ka atile thei tani assembly language ka English ang deu bera amaro chu harasa anlati high level language programming language chang ron siam chu le ta chung te chu kan soi seng lo hetila claim kan tarlante ani maya khang assembly language ho kha kan thuziak assembly language kan thuziak software siam na kan a code kan zia kha source code ti ania a code kan zia ho kha assembly language khan compiler khan assembly language a chantira chuan chu assembly language a chang assembler in machine code ati khan chantir le ta ti khan computer khan software emo apps emo kan nei thei ti na angani chu ale ta tang radio tamama. Let's go to the next slide. So the system software is like this. We have hardware, there is operating system and application and user. For example, your computer is the hardware. You are the user. Between you and the hardware, there is operating system. Operating system is a mass software which is necessary and compulsory to run the hardware. Without operating system, you will not be able to run your computer or your phone or your device. Okay, so computers are the operating systems are the system software. We can say that system software are the necessary software for the functioning of your device. Let's say device. And another example here is Linux, Macs, Androids, etc. Utility software. Now let's go to utility software. Utility software are software designed to analyze, configure, or optimize the system. Okay, for example, antivirus, which is useful to detect antivirus. And for example, there may be some utilities to format your hard disk. There may be some utilities to recover your deleted photos, etc. So those are utility software. it can be categorized under application, but we can call it as a specific group of utility software. They are not system software. System software kan ti khan computer emo system function na poi mo nge ho khan ni a utility software kan ti chuan enge mathil big te ti na turan siam ho kha utility software ni chuan application software. Let's go to application software. I cannot I'll simply give you the definition of this application software because there are countless number of application software in the world. So application software, the software which are developed for end user. That means they are not compulsory for the functioning of your device, but you can use it. For example, music player. Even though music player is not there in your computer or your phone, you can still use your computer and phone. That music player is application software. For example, currently we are using Google Meet. Okay, Google Meet through browser or through apps. So that apps or browser is application software. Now, let us go a little bit deeper into software. I hope you know what is freeware and shareware. Freeware, let's shareware in Shashang MO. Freeware means it's free. Okay, free to use. Even though you use the software, you are not violating any laws or you will not face any legal action. So freeware is the software freely available, freely downloadable, etc. And freeware is the term freeware is coined by Andrew Flugerman. Okay, Andrew Flugerman. Please try to remember if possible, because in CCC exam they may ask you. And another one is shareware, tryware or demo. Shareware are advertisement software. Let's call it as advertisement software. You can use that software for a limited period of time, or if the software have 10 functions, you can use 1 or 2 functions freely. But in order to use another function, you need to pay. In games also, we have these types of shareware. Call it as demo games. Okay. Freeware kan ti chuan a free liao software thiam ten mi pui man turan pek chua ania shareware kan ti chuan an software ti la na thakat chu man thei emo ani lo le a thil ti thei som jing a khan pani chu free shareware angin pe chuak angan ti ta a thil ti thei dang mang le tu khan poisa choi ngai le ngai ang chi te kha shareware ani games a po atam mai chu tiang chu. Now let's talk about open source and proprietary software. Open source le proprietary software dang lam na en lokila enge open source ti na kina kan so hile don nya proprietary software hi chu up a license fee kan ti don poisa pek ngai ni a open source software kan ti ho chu poisa pek ngai lo ni a chuan proprietary software how hi chu anei tu bi ka amawangin harsan na in to po khan anei tu company le siam tu company te kha in vazot te you can have support from the company, but proprietary software there may be support but usually there is no support. And source code means the code written to develop that software is not available in proprietary software, but in open source software the software is accessible to the public. For example, Microsoft hi proprietary software pechuak tu tamper ani a company lian Microsoft Word and siam na source code te mithiam zo kapeta se khatiang tho khan adang tam takan pechuak dona an siam le chuak dona an company khan an tluk chet pha thei dona chu wang chuan khatiang khan pechuak do lo ta ni open source a chuan computer thiamin and modify thei turin and do talk in the kind of source code po kha and that's what chin ani. Now let's talk about Free Software Foundation. This is related to open source software. Okay, Free Software Foundation is a non-profit corporation founded by Richard Stallman in 1985. Okay, the aim is to promote universal freedom to create, distribute, and modify computer software. According to him, let me display his image. According to him, all software must be freely distributed to help other people. hepa thu soya pei hi chuan mi hring hian kan du tokin kan du kan soi theya software po hi adu du man thei tura da tura ni anei tu bik le khatianga poisa choi ngai a om khan kan zalen na min ra be sakani Microsoft hian kan zalen na min ra be sakani Android siam tu te kon hian kan zalen na min siam min ra be sakani tiang zong khan anga ya na sa de in free software foundation movement ya kalpuya enga mochina ron hlo tlinga software siam tu te pon an chiat pha reng ani chuan adang pakhat ka mention du chu hepa hi Linux Torvalds ania he developed Linux operating system. Linux operating system is very, very popular nowadays. He developed this Linux operating system in 1991 while he was doing a PhD, okay, PhD degree. Sumdon na lampang nga ito char ni ta se he pa hian atil siam so ya shalanga khovela pa house per ko ni the yang amara cha mamo chuan mangro chen te ta free takina pe choka angai sanom ni mobile apps. I think I don't need to speak about mobile apps because you are all familiar with mobile apps. Ani nom time o minute some nga pa ni ani to kan so trepang mobile apps hi a history claim kan so yang Steve Jobs ka country ang Apple company and CEO ni Chin Borel ta kha he pa hian he is the first person to envision about app stores and mobile apps. Okay, they develop different devices to help personals called personal digital assistants. I hope you know iPods, something like that, for listening music. That can also be known as personal digital assistant. Yeah, mobile phone is also personal digital assistants. So in 1983, he have a vision, let's say a dream or an idea to develop apps for personal digital assistants. During that time, there is no mobile phones. And that was realized by Nokia in 1997. In Nokia give arcade game, which is a snake game. This is considered as the first mobile app, okay? Games, kapon ka khel to games black and white Nokia screen khan katiang this one is the first mobile app until so Apple's launched mobile apps in July 10 2008 and Google launched Play Store in 22 October 2008 and Microsoft yan Windows apps how he App Store angin 2012 andron siam chuak vele ani apps khatsu ang ba kha soi vak thei kan lo exam point of view chuan PDA. What is the full form of PDA ang chi te po kha lo chuak thei ni ti kha in chedon ni akum tak tak hi chuan ron jot kher in karing lo kha ti chin kha voina kan lecture le kan first chapter ani ka hriat lo chung in lo chuak nual to mi samni panga chi om to some may be network issues or some may be other issues. So from the participants, do you have any question? Zone name?
Nei love chiang khop mai sir.
All right, this lecture is only a few portion of the chapter. Okay, when it comes to CCC exam, different questions can be asked. Not only what I have lecture. So if possible, try to grab a textbook of CCC and try to learn from the textbook. Read through. Your exam will be only based on multiple choice, true or false, etc. You don't need to learn for long answer or descriptive answers. So you need to know the points. Okay. Here are some model questions which I already prepared. Let's study together. Yes.
Mark som nga puin in exam don pivel te khom vem.
I don't know regarding the pattern of the examination. I hope it will be the same. Kay ma shiat na china chuan eng ma dang lam na ala lo CCC exam pattern khan mo. I have put instructions regarding exam in Google Classroom. Please download it and study if possible. I hope the question pattern will be the same. So question will be like this. In computer terminology, information means nanti donta you have to choose one. Ngayon tlantakan ABCD. Anyone? You can type in the chat.
B
B.
B
Data.
B
C.
C ค่ะอันนี้
Information means useful and meaningful or organized data. Okay, like that. Instead of remote can. Let's see another one.
เราซ้ำแต่ว่าของ
Which of the following is part of the central processing unit? A. Hard disk. B. Motherboard. C. ALU. D. RAM. Random access memory.
B ค่ะนี่เราเมาซะ
D B
Some say D. Some say B. Are you not listening to my lecture? The correct answer is ALU. Arithmetic Logic Unit. The binary system is based on has a base of the binary number system.
A.
Yes, by means two. It's you can share a lot. Then a mouse, trackball, joysticks are example of A. Gaming device. B. Output device. C. Input devices. D. Processing devices. What will be the answer?
Output device.
No.
A D
Output device.
device
D
Input device. Oh.
put sorry.
The language that computer can understand and execute is, I have explained this also just now. What language? What? A. Programming language. B. High-level language. C. Computer language. D. Machine language.
B
B
It's a machine language. Okay, 0 and 1 can take. Huh?
เรา
The most common input device used today is input device. B more. It's keyboard. Okay, keyboard. You can the hardware device commonly referred to as the brain of the computer.
B
Yes, it's B. CPU. DVD stands for
D.
D C C
yes, it's C. This is video this, okay? A computer speed is measured in computer speed. In my lecture also I told you what is the correct answer.
B
Gigahertz.
Gigahertz, that's correct.
B
Which statement is valid? 1 KB equal to 1000 bytes, 1 MB equal to 0 byte. Which one is the correct one? C more.
D.
Low.
D
Okay, it's D. It stands for
ERT.
A.
yes. A is correct and C is also correct because it's the same. Equation wrong answer here. Correct. Who is the father of computer?
C.
B
B more.
C.
It's C. Charles
C
A single byte equal to 8 bits. Is it true or false?
false.
It's true.
True.
The first device used to compute is
B
Abacus.
B. Abacus.
yeah. Transistors were used in which generation of computers?
Second generation. B.
second generation.
Generation. khát tí dòng kha vậy na anh em lâu thế này á rõ nó đang in nemo
exam mo ni tiếng tên sir.